Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, and so my last review was on the 2019 film The Lodge, which I had nothing but high praise for. Loved the hell out of it, hyped the shit out of it. Everything I look for in like a supernatural kind of film. Very atmospheric, perfect methodical buildup of tension and suspense, story, acting, score, across the board, it took its time with its pacing. It was very slow, but it took its time with everything. I talked about how it's a great example of the elevated or intellectual horror movement. I think I got spoiled with that because this film is the opposite, and I'm right back to where I was before The Lodge. 2016's The Remains, which it was released through Vertical Entertainment, produced by Diablo Entertainment and EBF Productions. It is another Blumhouse film. It's not Blumhouse, but it's like Winchester or Polaroid. Another a film that's not Blumhouse that feels and looks just like one. It was directed by Thomas Della. Can't click on his name, so I don't know what else he's done. And it stars Todd Lowe, who... he looked familiar. I don't think I've seen him in anything. Lots of television. He was in an episode of Criminal Minds. Kind of like a Jim Gaffigan looking dude, but he plays this single dad. His wife had just passed away. He's got a teenage daughter and two younger kids, a son and a daughter. So there's Izzy, and then there's is it Mia and Aiden? Victoria and Aiden. I think Victoria's older. They move into this house, which back in the 1800s, it was the home of this seance, and it's been haunted ever since. And it's a movie that works with supernatural shit going on in the house, possesses some people, and it's all built around the remains of that seance. These objects that were left in a chest that the kids find. It's another... yeah, I know I've said this a lot lately, but it's what they make me think of. Even good movies like The Lodge and, okay movies like Oculus makes me think of The Shining. This has The Shining and Amityville mixed in with it, but a very, very, very bad version of it. It has a whopping 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I say that's well-deserved. There's not much to this movie. The acting isn't that great. Todd Lowe has his moments, but I think a lot of it is just the material he's given. Hell, there's even one point where they go to walk in the living room, and the books and everything are all over the floor. And the oldest daughter, Izzy, is like, you think there's something wrong with the house? And he's like, it's a stupid line, and his delivery is just as corny as the line. He's like, oh, come on, there's got to be some sort of rational explanation for all this. I must have not tightened the legs on the bookshelf. Very cheesy. It opens up with the seance. Everyone involved has to give up one item. So someone gives a doll, someone gives like a little magnifying glass, this guy gives his pocket watch. And during the seance, this woman, I want to see if I can get the actress' name. I don't even think they said Madame Addison, played by Maria Olsen. She was in The Lords of Salem. Okay. Which I do have something to say about that. Was she one of the witches? There's not even a cast on here. I mean, a filmography. But anyway, Madame Addison, she's doing the seance, and of course she gets this demon voice coming out of her, and she's very animated. Her eyes go black. Like, saying all this cheesy supernatural possession lines. You should have left it alone. One guy gets up and strangles her, and she's like frozen. It's the one creepy image of the entire film. And I mean, there's jump scares. There's one jump scare that wasn't bad. There was a dream fake out sequence, but they didn't really finish it, so it's like a half-assed dream sequence thing. So they move into this house, and the dad's trying. The kids are all still sad about their mother. He's still grieving, but trying to be strong for his kids. They're not used to not having their mother around, so he's trying. We get that. The kids, the two younger kids are not very good actors at all. I would say the younger daughter is better than the son. But like Amityville, the dad gets testy and pissy and more agitated. Like, he finds them, she has a doll, the son has a camera, which is from the chest. He keeps telling them to leave it alone, leave that stuff alone. But they keep having it. Of course, he keeps waking up at 3 a.m., you know, witching hour, because during the seance, they talk about how they had to do it at 3 o'clock because of witching hour. I would say this movie does have better build-up than other movies of its kind, or ones that are similar to it, like, say, a Blumhouse film. It was better than Winchester. It was way better than Polaroid. But there's still not much to it. I mean, you know, I guess one of the first things is he's going to make eggs for his son, but when he cracks open the eggs, blood comes out. It's like, what? Is this the It miniseries where all the scares is just blood? And he looks outside, she's laying on the ground, and the son's just staring up at a window. The kids are slowly possessed over time. Tensions rise within the household because he's being like a mean dad, or at least they think so. He keeps getting drawn up to the attic. The real estate agent plays dumb, like she's never heard of anything. One day, up in the attic, he sees this young girl who's dressed like she's from the 1800s, which she's the daughter of the couple from 1891 that they did the seance to. She says, you know, burn the items in the chest because she's coming. And oh, and I forgot to mention, because apparently this must have went over my head, because this was kind of a chore to sit through. I will say the cinematography was nice. I can say that about a lot of these films, is they at least look good. During the seance, I guess because of how much the demon got involved, everyone died. So it's like all their souls are in there or whatever. But eventually it's all just leading up to the dad really just having more visions. There was one sequence where he says he has to go out to the store, so he has the oldest daughter watch them, but all she does is smoke weed and sleep. So when he gets home, he's walking by a bedroom, and on the bed, the blankets look like someone's sitting on it with the sheet over their head. So he goes, puts his hand on the head, and then it just falls flat. I mean, the camera doesn't zoom in. The camera doesn't really do anything. In fact, we see it through the doorway from across the hall, so I liked that shot. But the music gets loud when the sheet flattens. So it wasn't that bad of a jump scare. It was better than some of the other ones. And then he has a dream where he goes in his son's room, puts the blanket over his son's head, and beats his head a bunch of times with an aluminum bat. And kind of laughs at it. Just keeps hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. But it doesn't show him waking up or snapping out of it. And we sort of get a couple scenes where everything's normal, and then the sun just appears. So I don't know if it was trying to trick us into thinking, oh, he actually did do it. Oh, wait, the sun's right there. Or if they thought, they're probably going to figure it's a dream sequence. We don't have to show him waking up or anything. I mean, that's a dream sequence I could have lived with because, it's not this spooky, wide open mouth, CGI face jump scare. But, and eventually, the kids are all possessed. Oh, he does have this one neighbor that introduces herself, and and then one time he comes home, she's already inside talking about these burnt-looking tarot cards. That was from the box of stuff from the chest that he threw away. Freaks out on her, freaks out on the kids, throws them out. Throws her out. And then later on she comes by and apologizes while he's still kind of tweaking. And says, there is something wrong with the house. My father, whom she's taking care of after a stroke, says he came here a while ago to set some mouse traps, had a stroke, hasn't been the same since. And then I really don't remember a whole lot up until, the next time it's 3 o'clock. And the dad wakes up, he goes up to the attic, and then the kids are there. The two kids are there. They beat him nearly to death with some 2x4s. Oldest daughter comes home, all the lights are out, doesn't see anyone. How did that go? And then, the attic door opens. She goes up, sees the dad laying there. He pretty much tells her to, burn it, burn it. So she goes around, collects all the items, because earlier he goes out to the box by the trash, sees it's empty, so the items have been taken back out. And the Madame Addison from the beginning is still sort of like the Insidious lady. Pale, black eyes, just with this loud demon voice. The kids are possessed. And this is really stupid. She sets it on fire, and we kind of get this weird shot of Madame Addison kind of CGI burning away or going away or whatever. The kids instantly fall over. Then they're freed from the possession. But, of course, the dad was killed. Izzy, the oldest daughter, calls 911, but the phone kind of scratches out. Says, the phone doesn't work. And then Madame Addison appears again. And I don't remember what she says. It's some stupid, typical, generic, supernatural movie line. And of course, it's like this jump scare of up close. And with the black eyes, gray face with like weird cracks all in it. So, what did the burning do? The burning of the items and showing her pretty much being defeated. If less than 3 minutes later, you're just gonna have her like she's fine, like it did absolutely nothing. And then you get the tip, it's daylight, this new family comes up. They knock on the door, tell how beautiful the house is. The realtor says, "You're by 3 o'clock." Because get it? 3 o'clock. Only now it's in the afternoon. And then the camera just pans back, downward, upward look at the open house sign. And what's really funny is it ends with like imagine almost like the Evil Dead remake and Ash of Evil Dead music when the title comes up. With like, black letters with like the red half outlines, like the remains. Like, she. Was it that scary? I can say, yes, it was better than Winchester. It was better. I mean, it was better than Polaroid. But talking about like house films, haunted house or supernatural entity films, it was way fucking better than Winchester. I can give it that, but it's still a crappy movie. It's still a stupid movie. The dad, Todd Lowe, has his moments with acting, but this movie is just so fucking generic. Because even after he sees the girl in the attic, he looks her up on Google, and of course, the first thing he clicks on, the first thing that pops up is the thing he clicks on. It has all the information he needs about the girl, the seance, and the house. Which, someone, try to look anything up on Google and see how easy that shit is. It literally goes through every fucking beat. They check out the house. Everyone seems happy at first. The family unit. This one is struggling because of loss. The sense of grief is not nearly as strong or powerful as, say The Lodge. But The Lodge is a very, 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 very excellent, well-made movie. This one is not. Of course, has his jump scares with spooky faces or something moving past the camera. The one jump scare with someone under the sheet, and then when he touches it, it flattens. But the camera doesn't do anything. It's just music added. That one wasn't too bad. The dream fake out scene, they didn't even finish. Didn't show him waking up. This movie was just like, if you take... Again, I've said this a lot lately, but going through Blumhouse, like the Blumhouse films, and ones like it that have come out recently, there is a lot of things that made me think of The Shining. For better or worse. Because you have maybe a little bit more Amityville, because they move into this house, and it does the possession, or whatever it does, is making them more agitated and angry. But, yeah, I didn't care for this film. It was generic across the board. It added nothing new. Like any other movie, it has the time that the parent wakes up every night when shit happens. The best thing I can say about it, would be the cinematography. That's, it looks decent. The night sequences look fine. Even Madame Addison looks incredibly generic. It looks just like the Insidious lady, but half as scary. It's like, Mom, I want the Insidious lady. We had the Insidious lady at home, and it's this fucking chick. Yeah, this is not a good film to watch. Well, it's not in general, but this is not a good double feature with The Lodge, which I watched back to back. Even though it does deal with kids dealing with loss, and The Lodge wasn't really a parental figure, but someone watching after them, either going crazy or being taken over or whatever. yeah, there's like this dollhouse where they kind of see where some of the items were put. Or it's just what she plays with. I don't fucking know. Evil comes to play. That's the tagline. I didn't get that from this. But yeah, take The Shining, take Amityville, and then just throw everything that makes Blumhouse, stir it all up, take a shit in it, and then spread it out on film, or spread it across your TV. That's kind of what you get. Wasn't a fan of this movie. I didn't think it was going to be another Lodge. I was kind of expecting, because I'm not a fan of modern supernatural films, I kind of was expecting a Blumhouse type film, and that's what I got. It was even better than some of the Blumhouse films, for fuck's sake, but it was still pretty damn bad. Earlier, around like the 12-minute mark, if it seemed like there was a weird cut or jump, it's because someone called me while I was filming this, and I didn't want to start the review over. So I downloaded, I reshot it, or I made a separate video continuing it, and now I'm going to try to, I downloaded an app to see if I can put them together. Not tech savvy at all, so I'll probably fuck it up. But anyway, The Remains sucked ass. These supernatural films remain shitty for me. That was a corny line, but that's all these movies have. So, thank you for watching.